Ruski, ja nasze drogogo glejeznogo komunista szczytowi wiw junisz tos hiri.
Alright, here's the thing. I have this really controversial opinion that poor people deserve nice things every once in a while.
Now, I know it's in poor taste to make fun of someone's appearance at the very beginning of a video, but even then, this needs to be said. Every time I see you, you make me projectile vomit. It's not even like the normal kind of vomit where it's just food that you had. No, there's very little food there. It's just stomach acid and blood. And again, I know that it's not in good taste, or it's in poor taste to make fun of someone's appearance. But when you have an Adam's apple that is the size of an actual apple, you kind of have to call it out, because you'd be lying if you didn't.
I think poor people don't have to be constantly suffering and struggling. I don't know why that's controversial, but here we are. You've probably seen these graphics from Fox News that everyone made fun of a few.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Second part of this is that people think they're entitled to morally dictate the lives of welfare recipients because technically they're being paid with taxpayer money.
The main reason why people believe that they should be able to dictate the lives of welfare recipients is mostly because, yeah, they are being given taxpayer money. There's no way around it. You cannot say they're technically being given taxpayer money. No, they are being given taxpayer money. The government just doesn't say, oh shit, we're already in debt because of all the shit that we've been giving out for free. Here's some more money to put us into debt. No, they get it from the hard workers and give it to the lazy. Simple as that. How you don't understand that, and how you don't understand why people want to dictate their lives, and why they want to dictate their spending until they're at the aspect where they need welfare, why you don't realize this, why you don't see this, I will never truly know. But I'm going to guess it's just because you're a fucking moron.
For the first part of that, I think people just have no concept of what it's like to be poor. Like, a refrigerator is a pretty basic amenity in the US. You kinda need it to store food. I can imagine like 500 scenarios where someone has a refrigerator and is still struggling financially. It's not like a fridge is some opulent sign of wealth. You could easily be living paycheck to paycheck, barely being able to afford your rent and eating instant ramen for dinner every night, while still living in an apartment with a fridge. But that
Now, basic things that you'd find in a household, like a fridge, can come quite cheap. It all depends on what you are looking for. If you are like me, a later high school student is moving out, you need a fridge, or at least something to keep food for at least a day in there, and at least keep drinks. Get a mini fridge. You don't need too many frozen foods. Get things that can be made quick, easily, until you have enough to afford an actual fridge where you can store more stuff.
That's not the only thing. Like, a lot of poor families have cars. A car is often a necessity in areas that don't have a good public transportation system. And lots of jobs even discriminate against people who don't have a reliable form of transportation. So
Yes, because when it comes down to it, any time someone doesn't give you a job, it's automatically discrimination. Oh, they don't give you a job because you have to take the bus every morning and the bus doesn't come at the time you have to be at the job for, and then they don't choose you. Oh, well, that's discrimination. They're discriminating against you. They're just discriminating against you. Your logic is so fucking flawed, and it's so idiotic that you even think that that's the reason they do it, just to discriminate against poor people that don't have a reliable source of transportation. If you were to hire someone and you had to choose between two people, one person that lived 5 minutes away, they had a car, and they also had, if their car were to break down, a motorcycle as a backup vehicle. But then you had another person whose the same amount of away, but they have to walk. What happens if they are unable to walk? What happens if, hey, the road is blocked? It'll take even longer for them to walk around. Or say, both people are 20 minutes away. First person still has the car and the backup bike. The second person has to take the bus, which shows up 10 minutes before their shift starts. They will not get there on time, and there is no earlier time to get to the bus. Would you hire that person? Any sensible person wouldn't. So no, it's not discrimination. It's simply trying to manage resources and trying to find the best person available for the job in the area that can actually get to the job site on time and do their work. But no, everything's discrimination. Honestly, fucking moron.
Lots of poor people rely on smartphones for accessing the internet. Because in the US in 2017, you really need access to the internet to be able to function as a part of modern society. Internet access is essential for finding jobs, paying bills, doing your taxes, and just
You can still do all that shit physically, you know that, right?
generally keeping up with everything that's going on. But even if someone has a cheap smartphone, an old car, and a refrigerator, it's not like they're suddenly middle class or wealthy. You can have all of those things and still have a job that barely pays enough to cover your rent. I don't know what people expect, like everyone who has a roof over their head is financially secure. That's just not reality. Financial security requires a lot more than a refrigerator. It requires higher wages.
Not if you manage your money correctly. You could be paid $8 an hour, alright? And get paid at the end of every 2 weeks. But if you were to able to, say, have a roommate, they pay half the rent, and they also pay for food. That helps with what you need to pay for, alright? Now, also say that at the end of every month, you can choose to, your company will put X amount of dollars into a vacation pay. And you can take that vacation pay out whenever you want, but there are specific dates where they recommend, mostly in the summer, say on special holidays, or just, again, whenever you want. Alright? You can take half of that at the end of each month, half of what they're putting it away as vacation pay, and put that away as emergency money. So you have half emergency, half vacation. Alright? Good. So, if you are ever struggling, and you saved up all that emergency money, and you didn't just simply waste it on shit you didn't need. You bought things that you needed, then you went with the luxuries. If you do all that, you should at least be financially secure in your own way. Financial security doesn't mean a higher wage. It means being able to afford the basic necessities of life. Housing, clean water, and actually edible food. Oh, and clothing, of course. That's a given. But simply saying that you need a higher wage to be financially secure. No, you don't. You just need to know how to manage your money. Manage your resources. Even now. Alright? They are teaching this. Which, thank God they are. They are teaching this in schools now. Or for a while, but they will teach you different ways of managing your money. People that can help you get jobs that are better. People that can simply help you get your first job. All this, tied in with what I just said, can allow you to become financially secure in your own way, not in someone else's way, not in this person's way. They believe if you make X amount of dollars, you're financially secure. No, you're well off, but you're not financially secure. You could make $30 an hour, alright? We're just using $30 an hour, but you can only work 5 hours, and you can only be paid at the end of every 2 weeks, as that's a very common thing with jobs now, especially if you're not full-time. Well, looking into that, you wouldn't be financially secure if you wasted your money. If you just wasted your money spending on shit you didn't need, you just went out and bought a flat screen, you went out and bought the newest iPhone, you went out and bought a brand new car straight from the factory, you'd be left with very little. You would not be financially secure, but you can make little to nothing and have a bunch of compromises, a bunch of different ways of getting money, a bunch of different ways of cutting down how much certain things cost at the end of the week. And you could be financially secure in your own way. Financial security depends on what you need. Depends on how much you are paying at the end of the week for certain things and how much you have left over. It is not simply, I make a shit ton of money, therefore I'm financially secure. Because you could have bad spending habits. You could have anything that could ruin how much money you make. There are a lot more factors that go into it, rather than higher wages and what else you're gonna say, alright?
Because that's what being poor is. It's an income level, that's it. And if people want to splurge on some things using their very limited income, they have every right to do that. If someone
The problem is that they are spending taxpayers' money on shit that they don't need. Sorry, if you want it, you get a job that can afford it. But when you're on welfare, when you are on government assistance, you're simply trying to get yourself up into a part where you can pay for shit yourself. If you want something, save up money and get it yourself. Don't beg other people. Don't get government assistance just to get shit that you want. Honestly. And they do this fucking mental gymnastics. They'll mention welfare at the very beginning, and then they'll change it. They'll rarely mention it. Alright? And they're trying to change how you see it. And they're trying to change the subject, but keep it in the same realm. Where they can spend your hard-earned money because they're supposedly poor. Because they simply don't want to have to go out and find a higher paying job. Because they're spending money badly. Sorry, if you're on welfare, guess what? You're just having it to pay for shit like food. To help pay for your fucking kids' food. You're not using it to get yourself a new fucking Xbox. You want that? Okay, here's a place where, here's an address where they will help you find a new job. Oh, I can't. Oh, really? Why? Oh, because I'm a fucking lazy ass little cunt. I'm a tumor on society. I just decide not to. Honestly, guess what? You're on welfare, you should be restricted. You can only buy this, and this until you get your own job where you can buy that and your own shit. Until then, you can only buy this. You want something else? Okay, here's community service. Earn some money. Here's a fucking soup kitchen that pays $5 every 2 hours. Go work there. Go work somewhere. Do something to at least make an impact on society rather than being a fucking tumor.
manages to spend less money on certain things so they can afford a nicer car or a nicer smartphone, that's up to them. We all prioritize our money differently. Some people spend more money on entertainment, like video games and movies and going out. Others spend more money on their clothes or their makeup or their car. People are different and will prioritize things differently, even if they're working with very limited resources.
By limited, you mean welfare. Well, guess what? I'm fucking done with this. I'm done trying to say the same thing over and over again because you simply want to try and make it so welfare looks like this good thing that poor people need, and alongside that, hey, they can use your hard-earned money that you worked hours and worked your ass off to get to buy their own shit because they're terrible at spending and because they're a tumor on society. I'm done with this video. Alright? I'll see you guys in the next one.
Like, your employer, just because they pay you, isn't allowed to tell you what kind of food to buy or what kind of stuff you're allowed to spend money on. The same goes for taxpayers and welfare recipients. But
Kill yourself! Oh yeah!